This is an anime about a young boy who was ultimately cursed by a witch and is forced to live in seclusion for the rest of his life to prevent him from bringing harm to all living things he comes to contact with. A young lad known as the Duke of Death held a horrible curse that sentenced any living being he touched to an untimely death in a distant world. This terrible ailment befell him after a wicked witch cast her nasty spell on him. Fearing the implications of his curse, his noble mother exiled him to a distant mansion away from the prying eyes of the world. Despite his unfortunate circumstances, the Duke sought solace in the company of Alice, a dedicated maid. She'd been a close childhood friend, and although knowing the dangers of his touch, she couldn't resist the temptation to elicit his reactions by teasing him with her enticing presence. Alice was the only one who dared to spend time with him, relieving his heart's loneliness. Another boyhood friend named Philip indicated a wish to visit the Duke one day. The Duke welcomed Philip into his private residence, hopeful of rekindling a friendship. The visit, however, was bittersweet because Philip arrived with a retinue of soldiers who kept the Duke from getting too near to his old buddy. The Duke's hopes for meaningful companionship were dashed by this terrible turn of events. During the visit, an unintentional brush across a plant brought the Duke's curse to life, with the plant withering at his touch. This horrible terrified Philip, and his anxiety strengthened his notion that the Duke was nothing more than a monstrous entity. Philip then disclosed, in a betrayal, that the Duke's mother had compelled him to visit as a spy, revealing her diabolical plan to replace the Duke as the family heir and cut him off completely. The Duke, heartbroken and deceived, stood by and watched Philip leave, vowing never to return. Despite this sad news, the Duke remained determined to one day break the malevolent spell that had afflicted him. He also harbored a long-held desire to reveal his feelings for Alice and ask for her hand in marriage as a way of repaying all the compassion she had shown him over the years. The Duke persisted in his attempt to break the curse as the days became into years. His unwavering love for Alice and the desire of regaining his place in the world gave him the courage to face each day with unwavering determination. So, deep within the hidden mansion, the Duke of Death resisted his curse, wishing for the day when he might finally embrace life and love without fear of causing damage. Rob, the elderly butler, returned to the Duke's service despite his failing eyesight, which left the young Duke worried about potential accidents. Fearing for Rob's well-being, the Duke redirected his focus towards his piano, dreaming of making a living by composing heartfelt songs. One evening, he gathered the courage to play a tender melody he had written especially for Alice, hoping to convey his feelings through music. As the Duke drifted into slumber, Alice was deeply moved by the beautiful tune, and her emotions almost led her to share a kiss with him before she restrained herself. Suddenly, the tranquil atmosphere was interrupted by the unexpected arrival of the Duke's sister, Viola. Viola, with her exasperatingly girly personality, quickly noticed the sparks between Duke and Alice, playfully teasing her younger brother about his obvious affection. Surprisingly, she encouraged him to find a way to break the curse swiftly so he could return home. Unintentionally, Viola bumped into Rob during their conversation, revealing her own crush on the elderly butler. In the midst of these emotional entanglements, a stray cat found its way into the mansion, causing Duke considerable anxiety. Unable to predict the cat's intentions, Duke feared that the creature might inadvertently come into contact with him, potentially falling victim to his curse. However, Duke's empathetic heart led him to discover a note attached to the cat's collar, pleading for forgiveness, hinting that the cat had been abandoned. Taking it upon himself to find the cat's home, Duke released it outside, only to realize that it had a loving family with a devoted wife and adorable kittens. Later that night, Duke mustered up the courage to ask Alice to dance, despite the challenge posed by his curse. Together, they managed to waltz gracefully, finding a way to share a connection without physical contact. As the dance drew to a close, Duke's nerves got the better of him, and he awkwardly confessed his feelings to Alice. To his delight, Alice reciprocated his emotions wholeheartedly, admitting that she loved and adored him in return. In that moment, their hearts became intertwined, and the mansion, once filled with loneliness and fear, now echoed with the hope of love and a brighter future. With Alice by his side, and the support of friends like Rob and Viola, the Duke felt an indomitable determination to break free from the chains of his curse and embrace a life filled with love, music, and happiness. Alice invited Duke to a festival in town, and to ensure he posed no danger, he donned a costume that concealed his curse. Amidst the revelry, they encountered a masked woman named Dalif, who recognized Alice as Sharon Lendrot's daughter. As the festival unfolded, Duke's innate kindness shone through when he comforted a lost child by playing the piano. The enchanting melody enticed the crowd into a dance, bringing joy and smiles to everyone around. However, their day of merriment was disrupted when Duke stumbled upon a novelty mask bearing his likeness. Realizing that rumors about his curse had spread, he felt a pang of desolation. In an attempt to lift his spirits, Alice narrated a touching tale of a princess who sent a yearly kiss to her prince imprisoned on the moon. The story resonated with Duke, yet it also served as a poignant reminder of his inability to touch Alice. Despite his melancholy, Alice reassured him that just being close to her was enough, which brought some solace to the Duke's heart. Later, when she summoned him to her room, Duke couldn't help but feel a mix of excitement and nervousness. However, he soon discovered that Alice's intentions were genuinely caring, as she merely wanted to help him relax and find restful sleep. Determined to create more special memories, Duke invited Alice on a boat to watch a mesmerizing meteor shower. Tragically, a mishap occurred, and Alice fell into the water beyond Duke's reach. Desperate to save her, she demanded he kiss her, willing to risk everything for one fleeting moment of connection. However, Duke couldn't bear the thought of harming her and refused. To his surprise, Alice revealed it was a playful ruse to trick him into the water as well. Laughter filled the air, washing away the seriousness of the moment. Even though they missed the meteor shower, Duke felt upset that he hadn't been able to express his love as planned. But Alice's understanding nature reassured him, urging him to try again at the next meteor shower in 10 years. In the years that followed, Duke's affection for Alice blossomed, and the bond between them deepened. With each passing day, they found new ways to cherish their time together. As they looked forward to the next meteor shower, Duke held on to the hope that someday he would finally be able to tell Alice he loved her without fear of causing harm. Duke had always enjoyed the playful banter with Alice. Her teasing filled his days with laughter and lightheartedness. So when Alice suddenly stopped teasing him, Duke couldn't help but worry. He feared he had done something wrong, causing her to withdraw from their usual antics. However, his worries were put to rest when he learned that Alice had caught a cold, which explained her change in behavior. As Alice recovered from her cold, she invited Duke to spend the day in the snow with her. She even gifted him a beautiful scarf she had knitted herself. Duke was touched by her gesture and happily accepted the gift. Together, they frolicked in the snow, creating lasting memories in the winter wonderland. Upon returning inside, Alice noticed that she had dropped an earring that once belonged to her beloved mother. Distraught, she searched for it everywhere but couldn't find it. Determined to help Alice, Duke sneaked outside into the chilly night to locate the missing earring. However, the cold proved too much for him, and he ended up passing out. Fortunately, a nearby bat transformed into a girl before Duke's eyes. She used her magic to help him recover, and as she tended to him, she discovered that Duke was a nobleman assisting a maid like Alice. Intrigued by his compassionate nature, she introduced herself as Cuff, a witch. Cuff explained to Duke and Alice that she had reasons to be wary of humans. Witch hunters had tragically taken the lives of her parents, and due to her half-human heritage, other witches shunned her, leaving her unaware of curses and the true extent of her powers. However, she mentioned that her friend might possess knowledge about curses. Duke, feeling a connection to Cuff, suggested that she trusted her friend a lot, judging by how much faith she had in him. But his comment unexpectedly caused Cuff to react in fear. She leaped out of the window and disappeared into the night. Lost in thought, Alice reminisced about one of the last heartwarming moments Duke had touched her life. He had bravely defended her from bullies, and in that tender moment, he had compared her to a snow fairy, evoking a smile on her face. As Duke and Alice shared their feelings, they realized that despite their differences, they had formed an unbreakable bond. The chance encounter with Cuff, the mysterious witch, had brought them even closer together, strengthening their trust and understanding. And so, they embraced the magic of their lives, intertwined like snowflakes on a winter's day. Viola paid a visit to Alice one day and declared that she must learn how to make a cute face. However, little did Viola know that Alice was already a master at appearing cute, especially when it came to Duke, who couldn't resist her charms. Viola's attempts to make a cute face at Rob, unfortunately, ended up embarrassing herself instead. Despite her cute face mission, Viola insisted on helping Alice in the kitchen. However, she kept getting distracted by Rob, making it challenging to focus on the cooking task at hand. Amidst the chaos, Viola confessed her jealousy towards Duke, as he had people supporting him through his curse. She reminded him of the urgency to find a cure before their younger brother could become the heir. Duke decided to take Alice ice skating, hoping for a pleasant and distraction-free outing. But fate had other plans. While they were on the ice, they encountered a peculiar white crow that surprisingly transformed into a human named Zane. He revealed himself as a magic user and happened to be Cuff's friend, the witch they had met earlier. Alice recalled finding Cuff in her bat form on the ice and had kindly helped her warm up. The group decided to participate in the ice skating activities together, but Duke couldn't help feeling a tinge of jealousy watching Zane and Cuff have physical contact. Similarly, Zane envied Duke and Alice's ability to be honest about their feelings towards each other. Cuff, sensing Duke's desperation to break his curse, offered to take him to the next witch's sabbath. She believed that it might be the place where Duke could locate the witch responsible for his curse and potentially find a way to reverse it. Meanwhile, Viola decided to spend the night in Alice's room, where they had heart-to-heart discussions about love and Viola's longing for an older sister figure. Viola expressed that her mother tended to ignore her, leaving her craving for affection and guidance. Taking Alice's advice to heart, Duke realized that he needed to pay more attention to his sister in the future. Family bonds were essential, especially during times of crisis, and he vowed to be more present for Viola. As their intertwined adventures continued, Duke, Alice, Viola, Cuff, and Zane discovered that love, support, and understanding were the key to overcoming their individual struggles. They learned that together they were stronger and more capable of facing any challenge that came their way. And so, their journey towards breaking curses, forging bonds, and finding solace in each other's company continued, filled with hope and determination. Duke realizes his conservatory is overgrown and, using his curse, clears it before creating a flower crown for Alice. A playful incident with a cat forces Alice to wear Duke's coat, leading to teasing banter between them. The ruined gown upsets Alice, but she remains spirited. Cuff and Zane disguise as witches and take Duke and Alice to the Sabbath, where they meet Dalef. She reveals that the witch who cursed Duke is dead, but the curse may be irremovable due to its complexity. Despite the setback, Duke is determined to find a cure, and Cuff assures him of his potential. As they continue their journey, Duke and Alice face challenges with unwavering friendship and resolve.